Hi and welcome to my CAD Surfacing a Strawberry with Plasticity tutorial. Thanks for tuning in. This is just the first part of a larger project, so stay tuned and have fun surfacing. Okay, let's model a strawberry and make a cartoon strawberry out of it in Blender. But first of all, let's start our journey in Plasticity. Select the cube. Delete it, go to front view. I use the radial menu and go to Ctrl F for selecting this guy, the control point curve, and start drawing right away. Something like this. That's okay. And let's make two lines pressing Shift A. The first line is somewhere here. The second line you can duplicate by pressing Shift D and bring this guy down to somewhere here. Okay, let's go to control point mode and select these two control points and press L for lofting. Tap to come to G1 continuity. Okay, that's okay. Go to edge mode, delete this guy. Yeah, bring this guy a little bit down, something like this. And maybe that's too much. GZ, something like this, that's okay. Go to control point mode, select these two and also loft them. When G1 continuity, G2 is too much. Let's press D for playing with the tension. Although that's not necessary, just loft with G1 continuity right away. Okay. Let's go to this guy. I don't like how this is looking. Let's play a little bit with this curve. Control point mode. Go to edge mode, select these two. These are still two curves. Let's join them, by the way. Pressing J. And again, let's try to loft these guys. Pressing L. Okay, let's try something like this. Go to edge mode, delete this guy. We don't need it any longer. Let's take these two, press J, and now we can revolve it. Let's revolve this guy. Okay, this is the body of our strawberry. Okay, now that we have the body, we will continue with creating the cores, the little dots, the little ellipses on the body of our strawberry. Therefore, we can create a circle, a two-point circle or a center circle, doesn't matter. Let's bring this guy here and here, bring it down. Let's look from the front view and press SX for scaling the circle on the x-axis. Let's make it a little bit smaller, something like this. That's okay. I don't want that guy to be that small because I want to have a cartoonish look. Okay, the next step is radial array. It's this guy. And 24 is too much. I want to have something like 12. Yeah, 12. 12 is okay. Let's say okay. And if we look from this view, it looks as if it's not enough, but it will be enough. Let me show it to you this way. If we imprint the curves onto the body, you will see that the distances are much smaller. Let's take both of them, the body and the first circle, the first ellipse. Press Shift I for imprint. and press OK. We will repeat the operation for all the other ellipses also. You can use Shift R for repeating the last operation. We don't need these curves any longer. We can delete them. We just need one curve. The next thing we will do is deleting the faces, except this one. We need the face of the first imprint we have made. The rest can be deleted. And we need this one. And I will show you why. Because we will do an offset, pressing O, and scale this guy down. If it is too tedious, press Shift. In the new version of Plasticity, you can, similar to Blender, make more precise adjustments by pressing Shift. 83 is still too much for me. Let's make something like 50. No, it has to be something like 65. Let's try 60. I don't want such corners. So let's make, 55 is okay in this case. And now we will go to Edge mode and select these two. Press Shift D, so we will duplicate the edges. Let's hide this guy for now. Let's take this and bring this guy a little bit inward along the y-axis, pressing G, Y. Make something like this. Maybe a little bit more, something like this. I would like to loft these two, but I mean, we can loft, but it will give us strange results. So if we press L, it doesn't give us a clean result. So we have to do it another way. Let's take this circle and hide it. So let's go to the front view. What we will do is creating a line, pressing Shift A, a line which is long enough to cover both circles. Press OK. And now we will cut both circles, pressing Shift C for cutting curve. This is our target body, the first circle, and this is our cutter, the line. Let's make the same operation for the smaller one. Shift C, press the smaller one for the target body, then select the line as the cutter, press OK. Now go to Edge mode, and now we can delete all the stuff we don't need. And we will loft these two edges. If we go to Edge mode and loft right away, we still won't get the result we deserve. We get something like this, but I want to have this nice curvature here. So therefore we have to create some lines. Again, Shift A for creating a line connecting to the lower part of the smaller curve. And if we go to control point mode, you see that you have done a clean job by seeing these green dots. Okay, let's create also lines for the bigger curve, starting here and go along the normal, not along the z-axis, but along the normal. This will give us a better curvature. So this is the first one. And here, the last one, starting here again along the normal. Yeah, that's what we want. Go to Edge mode and hide these two for a minute. And to control point mode and press L for lofting and go to G1. That's enough for the curvature we deserve. Press OK. And again here, press select these two, press L for loft and G1 and press OK. We don't need these lines any longer. We can delete them and bring back the two curves. Now we have something like this, but we will still get a weird result if we loft this with these guiding lines. Let me show it to you. So if you take these two, press L and Shift, pressing Shift and select these two, it looks cool, but if we go to solid mode, select this and mirror it over, Alt X, and select merge halves together, press OK. So if you bring this one a little bit to here, and if we look at it without edges, it may look cleaner if we do it the other way around by not taking these curves as guiding lines, but edges, which we can create by extruding them. E for extrude, F for extruding freestyle. Let's select here a point, something like this, a snapping point, and let's extrude this guy along the x-axis. That's what we want, okay? We don't need these curves any longer because we have the edges which we can use as guiding curves. So delete these edges. Now we have these two edges of these sheets which we can use as guiding curves. Let's take these two, loft, and select these edges, G1 continuity, here also G1 continuity, press OK. Go to solid mode, we don't need these guys any longer. I am deleting all the curves we create because I can always recreate them by selecting, for example, the edges of this shape. So let's go to solid mode and select this guy, press Alt X, and let's select merge halves together along the y-axis. Press OK. Let's bring back our main body and let's show the edges. And go to face mode, select these faces, delete them by pressing Shift X. And if we go to solid mode, we can select our newly created sheet, make a radial array again. If we go to top view, I prefer to make such operations from the top view. Let's snap at the center. The adjustments can remain as they were when we created the first circles. Now we have a bunch of sheets. We don't need that many sheets. We can join them by shift selecting the body itself and pressing J. Now this is all one body. Hide the edges. And you can see that we have a clean result. The last thing which I would like to do for the first row of cores and holes is to create the core itself. And we can do this simply by going to edge mode, select this edge, and let's isolate this guy, pressing Shift H, And let's make a revolving operation again. And we can do so by selecting the revolve tool. And the first snapping point is here at the top. The second snapping point is here at the bottom. Boom. There you have your first strawberry core. And if you bring back the rest, pressing Alt-H, go to Object Mode, go to Top View, and again, radial array around the center. The first row of strawberry cores. Now we will do the second, third, and a fourth one. We don't want to have that many because, like I said, I want to remain in the cartoon world. Okay, let's continue with the rest of our course with the other rows, with the remaining rows. I guess we will do 3 of them. Activating this circle and make an array, a rectangular array. And the number should be 4 if you want to have 4 rows in total. And now we will do the similar tasks the same tasks like here at the first row. Radial arraying the circle, then imprinting on the body, punching holes. So the same procedure as in the first row. At the first row, we used 12. In the second hole, we will do 10 holes. The third one will consist of 8 holes, and the fourth one, the last row, will be 6. Okay, let's go to the front view. Take this guy, make a radial array. Let's go to the top view by pressing numpad 7. And I already have 10. Let's go to object mode, select this guy, pressing Shift I, and select the object we want to imprint. In this case, it's the second circle. And now we will repeat it for the rest of the other ones. Okay, now we will punch in holes, except for this one. Now we don't need the circles of the second row no longer. We can delete it. I like to keep things clean. That's why I delete stuff which isn't necessary. Again, let's take this guy. In face mode, press O for offset. Let's try 60, maybe even 65. Yeah, that's okay. 65 is cool. And now the same procedure as in the first row. Let's take these 2 edges or curves and duplicate them. Okay. Now we can delete the faces, pressing Shift X. Go to edge mode, select this one, and bring it inside, pressing G and Y. Something like this is okay. Okay. Let's take these 2 guys and press Shift H for isolating it. And let's create a line which we will use as the cutting curve. Select this guy, press Shift C, select the line as the cutter. Okay, make the same command here with the larger circle or ellipse. Select this one, Shift C, select the line as the cutter. Okay, we don't need these guys any longer. We can delete them. And now again, we create our lines, which we will use to create the guiding curves. Same procedure, but it's okay. Repetition is key. So these can go along the y-axis and the outer lines along the normal. Not along the z-axis, but along the normal. So we can create a nice curvature, a nice transition later on when we connect the surface we are about to create with the body. Here also, Shift A, create a line along the normal, press OK. Now we can hide these two guys. Let's deactivate them. Go to control point mode, select these two, press L, loft them with G1 continuity. You can switch between the continuities by pressing the tab key. Okay, let's take these two guys again. L for loft and tab for switching to G1 continuity. Okay, we don't need these guys any longer, the lines. We can delete them. And we can even create faces out of these curves. Let's select both of them. Press E for extrude. And now press F for freestyle because we want the extrusion to go along the x-axis. And now in default mode, it doesn't let us do so. So therefore we have to press F for freestyle, snap here at any snapping point. And let's drag along the x-axis. That's what we want. You can press OK and delete the curves right away, because what we are after are the edges of these faces. Now we can bring back our two half circles and loft them, pressing L and Shift, select the edges of the newly created faces with G1 continuity on both sides. Press OK. Now we don't need these faces anymore. We can delete them, go to front view, and Alt X for mirroring this guy. Merge halves together, activate it, and press this one for mirroring. Now it is mirrored and merged. Let's continue by arraying this newly created surface. Go to top view. Like I said, I prefer to array from the top view in this case. Radial array 10. So the same amount. Snap it to the center. Press OK. And look what happens here as soon as we press OK. Boom, we have created a bunch of sheets, which we will join with the main body. This one, and press J, and now it will again merge into one sheet. Hide the curves, and hide the edges. You can hide the edges here by show edges, and I would highly recommend to create a shortcut so you don't have to go all the time here for checking and unchecking the show edges command. Yeah, this is looking good. Let's continue with the core of the second row. So what we will do is basically, again, revolving this curve, selecting this tool, snapping to this snapping point, and the first snapping point is here. Press OK. Now we are happy. We have created another solid. Again, radial array, also 10, and the snapping point is the center. And it won't stay aligned like this. We will make cuts here between the rows and rotate the rows along the z-axis so it doesn't look that aligned. I mean, we can do it right now also. So let's do it. Create a line, pressing Shift A along the x-axis. Press OK. And yeah, this is okay. Somewhere here in the middle of these two holes. Press Shift D and drag it here down so we have two cutting lines. Bring it here and press C. Select the target body, which is our body. And now let's select the cutters, which are these guys. So select the first cutter, Shift select the second cutter, and press OK. Boom. And if we bring back our edges, you can see that we have a nice cut here. Let's hide this guy. Oh, let's deactivate it. And what we can do now is going to object mode and selecting all the parts from this row. So that's the body, which is a sheet, and all the cores. And we can rotate them along the z-axis, pressing R, Z. And we can do something like this. Yeah, let's make 20 degrees along the z-axis. Let's hide the curves for a second. And also the edges, so you can see that we have a juicy strawberry. Okay, let's start making the leaves. This will be a fun part also. And we can start by creating a control point curve. It's this one. It lives right here. The shortcut for that is Control F. Let's start drawing a control point curve right at the center. That's the first control point. Let's make the second one somewhere about here. And that's the third one. Press OK. Now let's see how we can model this one. Let's take this control point and bring this one a little bit to the side. Something like this. Let's look from the front view. This control point we can bring down. Add another control point by pressing Shift S. Mirror this guy. so that we can see what we are doing. Press Alt X and mirror it along the x-axis. Okay, this is what we have now. Look again from the front view, go to control point, and now you can make the little adjustments, something like this. These guys, I always select both control points of both curves. GG is for moving freestyle. Okay, let's look from the top. Let's look from the front view. Next step is creating the middle part. And we can do it by, first of all, take one curve, duplicate it, and we want this one, if we look from the top view, we want this one to be straight. And if we look from the front view, that this one has also the curve, that this curvature remains, but if we look from the top, that this is straight. So therefore, we have to flatten it along the y-axis. So if we select this one, press S, Y, and 0, you can see that we have now a 2D curve. These ones are 3D curves. This one is a 2D curve because if you look from the top, it's flat. That's what we want. And now let's place it in the middle by pressing G, V for pivot, changing the pivot so you can snap the pivot point to the end and take it by pressing G and snap it to the end of our already existing curves. We don't need this curve any longer. Select these guys and loft them. We have a flat, nice curve, sheet, sorry. Press OK. And the next step is going to the object view, take this guy, isolate it, pressing Shift H so we can see what we are doing. And the next step is pressing Shift S for raise degree. So you have also access to this command by pressing F and type in raise degree. The shortcut for that is Shift S by default. And what we want to do is create a nice curvature so this leaf is not that flat. I guess pressing Shift S once will be sufficient. So let's try and select these two control points and drag them up. Something like this. Yeah, this looks cool. Let's also drag this one up. G, Z. Yeah, this needs a little curvature also. That's what I wanted. Press OK. And again, object mode. And press Alt X for mirroring this guy. And we can merge the halves together and mirror it here along the x-axis. Boom. And if we bring back the rest of our model by pressing Alt H, let's go ahead and try to thicken this one. Let's duplicate this sheet by pressing Shift D. Bring this up. By the way, if these points, they get in our way, and we can hide them by going to F. Toggle points is this one, this command, and I already have a shortcut for this. So if we take this sheet and this sheet also, let's go to object mode, select both sheets and press Shift H for isolating them. The sheet has to be thinner. GZ, bring this one further down. Something like this. I don't like the tip of our leaf. It can be a little bit more round. So let's do it like this. Let's duplicate these edges. Shift D, bring them up, and SZ for scaling them on the Z axis, pressing SZ0. Go to the top view. Let's take our tangent circle. That's an awesome tool. I love to work with this one. So we can adjust the roundness here. And let's do the same for this part. I mean, we won't see it. Okay, then we don't need to make it here also. On the other hand, it will be easier for us to loft. So let's do it here also. Tangent circle, command. Yeah, something like this. That's okay. And now let's trim all the unnecessary stuff by pressing T. So now we can imprint these curves on our leaves by going to Shift I, select this sheet, our target body, and then the curves, which are these guys. Press OK and see what we have now. Yeah, this looks okay. Let's go to Edge Mode. Select these edges, this sheet, press Shift X, delete it. This also Shift X. By the way, we don't need the lower one. We can delete this one, the lower sheet, right away. We will duplicate the upper one. Let's go to this part. Again, face mode. Shift X, so delete this face, this one also. Edge mode, delete this junk. And we don't need these guys either. And if you press Alt H, again, let's go ahead and try to thicken this one. Pressing F, thicken sheet. And see if we are able to thicken now. Yeah, this works. Hide our curves. We have something like this going on. Let's take only these edges and fillet them. So let's type in 5 to 5. It's still too low, I guess. Let's type in 10 to 10. 10 to 10. That's too much. 7 to 7. This seemed to work. Press OK. Yeah, this looks okay to me. By the way, this is micro filleting what we are doing here, so it's not that important. But for the sake of completing our job, let's go to the top view, select our object, which is a solid, by the way, after we have lofted these two sheets. Let's isolate this one, Shift H, and create a curve, a line, pressing Shift A. And now let's cut this solid with this line, press OK. And go to object mode, select this object, delete it, and let's mirror it over so we have the filleting also on the other side. Alt X, merge halves together, mirror it. Okay, that's what we have. Here is a little inconsistency going on, but that's not that important because, like I said, it is a micro filleting thing we are doing here. So the last thing I would like to do with these leaves is go to object mode, radial array it, radial array. Yeah, the number of 5 is okay. Let's array it around the center. Hide the control points for each leaf. And also for the curves. And that's what we have now. We have our leaves. Of course, everything is up to your personal preferences. If this looks too, how can I say, too artificial, you can play around, do some adjustments for each leaf. I will leave it like this. Now the only thing which we need to add is the stem. Therefore, we can go to the front view, create a line by pressing Ctrl F. Therefore, we have to activate the curves. First of all, let's make our little adjustments. Create two two-point circles. Again, let's take this guy and isolate it, pressing Shift H. Go to the top view. Yeah, let's go to the top view and look for the two-point circle. The first one will be here on the top, and the first one will be larger than the second one. So let's go to top view. Again, create a two-point circle, and let's start dragging out our circle, something like this. And the second circle will be here on the bottom. Okay, now let's loft these guys. But first of all, let's loft these guys. Select these two circles, press L, and Shift select for this as a guiding curve, and we have something like this. But this is too big for me. This can be smaller, this bottom circle. So let's press S, B for changing the pivot point, and SS for scaling it proportionally. So now after we have changed the pivot point, it will scale along this point. That's what we want. So we don't lose touch with the guiding curve we will use now. Let's look from the front view and let's make a similar adjustment with this one, but not with the scale, but with the rotation. Press R, B, and rotate this guy something like this. Select both circles, press L for loft and Shift select for this guiding curve, and that's what we wanted. So if you bring back the rest of our model, we can easily place the stem. At first, let's take this guy, our stem, isolate it, close these. Let's try G1. That looks funny. G2. Yeah, I like G2. Let's play with the tension. We cannot play with the tension because we are patching it. That's okay. That's not that important. And also, let's close the bottom so we have nice solids. and it can remain at G0. So cool, that's what we wanted. So if we bring back the rest, pressing Alt H, now we can move our stem exactly to where we want it to be, and do also the rest, the other adjustments, something like rotate and SS for playing around with the scale. Yeah, I think that's okay. GG, and bring this guy into the middle. If we look from the top, we should bring this guy here to the middle. Yeah, this looks cool. There you have it. Now we have modeled our strawberry. I will leave this one as it is. I mean, you can make further adjustments. You can play around with the number of the holes and the cores, and you can rotate the rows here, and of course play around with the shape of the sheets. But I will leave it like this, because on the one hand, this is a standalone tutorial on how to make a strawberry, but on the other hand, this will be a part of a larger project. And in this project, the strawberry will be only a little detail. That's why I don't want to spend that much time and energy on making the strawberry. I just wanted to have a nice cartoon-looking strawberry. That's what we have now. And the next step will be exporting all the parts to Blender via Blender Bridge, or importing all these parts into Blender via Blender Bridge, and coloring them. Okay, now we will continue with the Blender part, and we will do so by going to the Plasticity, to the Blender Bridge add-on, which you should have already installed, and go to connect. And the first thing we have to do is check only visible, because we don't want Blender Bridge to import all the stuff which isn't visible, obviously. And the second thing we will do is just pressing refresh. And there you have it. Our strawberry, our Plasticity strawberry, is now a Blender strawberry. Now we can start grouping the objects right away. So the first group of objects will be these leaves. Let's select them and press Ctrl J for joining them. So these are the leaves. And of course, the second thing you should do is, after grouping them, after joining them, is go to Shift S and to geometry, so that the point is at the center of our leaf and not somewhere else. The second thing is this guy. I guess it's called the stem. So press F2 and rename it. And the second step, of course, is go to Shift S and geometry. It's centered here. Let's go to front view. First of all, hide the main body, and let's select all these. You should select one of them, which is then highlighted in yellow, while the other ones remain at orange. You can now press Ctrl J and join them. And of course, here also press Shift S and to geometry. Let's rename this guy and call it core. Let's bring back the body by pressing Alt-H. Select this guy, rename it, call it body. Now we have a clean structure, and we don't need these parts to remain in the folder structure created by the Blender bridge. We can take these guys and bring them to the scene collection by pressing M, scene collection, and we don't need all these folders any longer, because our Blender bridge part is finished. And the first thing I would like to do is select all these guys, or let's create an empty, parent them to an empty, bring this up, GZ, and now we can take the stem, the leaves, core, body, and then select the empty. So this one is the highlighted one. Press Ctrl P, object. Now everything is under the empty, and we can also animate this guy later on if we want. And it looks cleaner. So that's the first thing. Let's go to orthographic view by pressing numpad 5 and bring this a little bit up. Now let's create our scene by creating a plane. We can press S10 and again S2 for scaling this guy up. Press Ctrl A for applying the scale. Go to edge mode, select the edge, and press E for extrude and Z to extrude it along the Z axis. Select this edge and press Ctrl B for beveling. So now we have made this, how do you call it, infinite background, I guess it's called. But the segment size can be, I don't know, something like 20. That's okay. We should also go to Shift, Shade, Auto Smooth. I guess they have changed it in Blender 4.1. Anyhow, now let's create our camera by going to Shift A, create a camera. Where is it? Here is it. Bring this guy out and Alt R for resetting the rotation, and X 90, and bring this guy a little bit up. Let's see how our camera looks. Yeah, that's okay. Let's GZ, bring this guy a little bit down, and the GY so we can center our strawberry in the middle of the scene. And we can also play with the GY. For now, that's not that important, how it looks, the format. That's our camera setup. We can change that later on. And like I said, this is the first part of a multi-part series where this strawberry will only be one object out of many objects. How the camera is looking now is not that important. We will make a cool high-res poster ready for print, an illustration, a cartoon. And like I said, the strawberry is just one object out of many, which will take place in the poster composition. Now we can keep on adding our lights. Where is it? Here is the area light. Let's take this guy. Let's go to the top view. Bring this one out by pressing GY and rotate it RX 90. Let's look from the right view. Bring this guy out, something like this from the top view. GX. Let's rotate this guy. Let's make something like this. Let's scale it and give it a strength of, let's say, 1000 watt. And if we look from with our camera view, let's go to rendered view. Of course, we have to change the environment text. I have environment by default, but that's not what we want. We want something like this by default, so that we can build our lighting setup one by one. Let's create a second light by shift duplicating, shift D and X, so we can drag it along the x-axis. Now let's rotate it. The second light, which comes from the right, doesn't need to be that strong. We can make something like 200. And the third light will be the point light. So therefore, let's create a point light, drag it, G, Y, so right behind the strawberry. Let's give this guy, let's see, look from the front. For now, we can make something like 2000. This looks weird. So again, look, yeah. So this will be the rim light. And the fourth one will be again an area light or a spotlight. I'm not sure. Okay, let's try a spotlight this time. Again, Shift A, light, spot, and bring this guy up. Let's go to our camera view, or let's go first of all to top view. Yeah, that's okay. Let's go to camera view and let's play with the value of our spotlight. Let's try something like 2000. Nothing changes. 5000. Go to solid view and, or even wireframe, so we can see this wall. Let's bring this guy, rotate this guy, spot. Let's go again to camera view and rendered view. Let's play around with the rotation along the x-axis, X, and see what we get. Make something like this. And of course, let's play with the spot size. Yeah, I will leave this for now like so. Okay, the next step is giving our strawberry some colors. So let's go to the shader editor. The first color will be the one of the body. So let's go to material view, to the material tab, and press new. And the base color is obviously red. So type in the hex code for red, which is FF and 4 zeros. And I want this to have a translucent look and no roughness. So therefore, we can go ahead and type in 0 for the roughness. IOR, we can play with this value. Let's try something like 0.7. And the transmission should be at 1. So we have a cool looking, like glass looking, transparent strawberry. You can of course play with this value if one is too much. Let's try something like 0.7. We still have the structure, but it's not that harsh anymore. Let's try 0.85. Yeah, I will leave it like this. Let's take these guys, the leaves and the stem. Shift select the body and then Control L, link materials, so we have the same materials applied to the stem and the leaves. But let's copy this one and just change the base color. First select the stem, then shift select the leaves for copying again the material of the leaves and apply it to the stem. The third one will be cores. Therefore, we will create a new material. This one won't be as transparent like the other parts, but metallic, because if we would make it as transparent as these, you wouldn't see the cores. So first of all, the base color can be something like this, yellow, or maybe something like orange. This time I want this guy to be metallic. The roughness, you can bump it up so it doesn't look that metallic. 0.7, and the rest can remain as it is. There you have it. Our strawberry is ready. I hope you had fun and you were able to follow along. Stay tuned for upcoming videos covering illustrating with plasticity. For all the surfacing nerds who don't want to wait, check my CAD Surfacing Iron Mike Tyson course on Udemy. The link is in the description. Peace!